Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard with you live downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Very busy 3-hour program lined up. Jeff Sherman from the Westgate on golf in the NBA in 30 minutes. Dave Tooley from VSiN in 1 hour from right now. Evidently, a lot of people were unaware that they finished in the money in Las Vegas football betting contests. Very strange. We'll ask him why coming up then. Chad Andrus on the Bills-Broncos a little bit later on, and Derek Stevens will relive Sunday, Circa Survivor, like he only can, coming up in 2.5 hours. And, Pauly, we do have breaking news on the show today. The Las Vegas Raiders announced that Antonio Pierce has been fired as the head coach. And this is from Vic Tafer, who tweeted this out moments ago, who covers the team. After a couple of days of thinking about it and talking with his advisors, like new minority owner Tom Brady, Raiders owner Mark Davis has pulled the plug on Antonio Pierce after 1 year. Davis will now hire his 7th coach in his 13 years since taking over. Can somebody please explain to me? Because I don't get it. It has to be like a half an hour sit down. Why, again, were they trying to win games down the stretch, and why did they celebrate, including said owner, Mark Davis, at the end by smoking cigars and having a blast by winning games late? No, on no planet does that make any sense.
Yep. And you cost yourself a top 2 pick again. You can't get a quarterback. So, as Bill Barnwell from ESPN tweeted, they're going to continue to cycle through coaches until they commit to a rebuild. And you have to put together back-to-back good drafts, which they also can't do. Can't draft and can't find a quarterback.
The lack of drafting or the really awful drafting has been a thing for 20 years for the organization.
Yeah, it's right. It doesn't make any sense. These owners and people need to be drug tested. How you blew the pick. If you're going to fire him, why are you winning meaningless games? The last thing you want to be in sports is average or below average. And they did it last year, and they did it this year, and the Patriots just did it, and the Giants did it a couple weeks ago. You need a quarterback. You can't keep doing this with Garoppolo, and then you put in O'Connell, and then you go back to Minshew, and it's silly. And if they would have put Ritter in there, like Cleveland did with DTR, if they just would have played Ritter, they would have got the number 1 draft pick. So the fan base is furious. The tank for Sanders signs. Sanders always tweeting stuff on social media after every Raiders loss, and here they are stuck again without a plan. So who's the coach going to be? Who's the quarterback going to be? None of it makes sense. Look what Tennessee did today. Somehow Callahan survives, but the GM goes. So now you have the shotgun marriage with the new GM and the head coach who just went 2-15 ATS and was a disaster, hired by the GM you just fired.
Right, and the guy they're going to probably hire as the new GM is the guy Vrabel was telling them to hire when he was still there. You want to talk about just completely clueless and out to lunch.
Yes.
Again, there is no structure on several. These are NFL teams worth billions of dollars and people making multi-millions of dollars every single year to run them. There is no structure. There is no game plan. Look no further than the spots we're talking about right now.
Yeah, exactly right. And you're continuing to be 4 or 5 win team. Tennessee, at least, they were the 1 seed, and they decided to screw this up. And this great tweet from @Jake&Ball, 2022, sided with Vrabel. Fired John Robinson. 2023, forced marriage of Carthon and Vrabel. 2024, fired Vrabel, sided with the GM Carthon. 2024, let Carthon pick Callahan. Today, sided with Callahan, fired Carthon, a truly lost franchise, and now you're going to have a new GM, and he is making the number 1 pick overall. So good luck with all of this.
Of course.
And you traded A.J. Brown, and you let Henry walk, and you had Hopkins, and you were the 1 seed and said, I don't like it. Let's try something else. And now you walk into this bleep show. You're right. It's $1 billion business run by bozos and buffoons. Look what Jerry Jones is doing. Okay, smart businessman, whatever. Glory hole. Okay, he found it with the oil money. But it's like, oh, what are you doing with Mike McCarthy? The fans like it when stuff's incentive laden and all this stuff. And what you might you love McCarthy, but now you might lose him. And I wouldn't be surprised if McCarthy just say, sorry, Jerry, I'm going to go somewhere else. My contract's up in a week.
Yeah, now leave it to a team like the Raiders, who will, because Telesco's going to stay as the GM. And whatever coach they're going to go with, watch Mark Davis give him the green light that says, we need a quarterback. Why don't you make a trade for the number 1 or the number 2 overall pick? And then we will take Sanders or we'll take Cam Ward at that point. And some people have floated out. This was actually to the Minnesota Vikings. I think this goes back to the Schefter talking point from last week.
Mm-hmm. This is really picking up steam.
For McCarthy?
Yes.
So
not only the Raiders, but just anyone.
You want to throw in Max Crosby?
Oh, God.
That's what people have discussed, along with the
God.
first pick in the draft.
Okay.
Get rid of the franchise, move him back to Oakland if they make that move. If anybody, first of all, they have like zero talent on the team. So the one person who is a game changer and awesome is Max Crosby, and you cannot, and Brock Bowers, by the way, but he's only in his second year coming up. If they would trade Max Crosby, it's just...
Who's reporting that?
That was part of the stuff, I think, when Schefter was talking about it last week.
The guy's never played a game.
And people like on social media tweeting out, who says no to this deal? I know. The Raiders should say no to that.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd give the guy give up a first-round pick
I wouldn't either.
Come on. What are we doing here? But that's, and Musburger probably knows, and the Godfather has a plan that the Raiders could do this, but that is absolute lunacy. So this is... every time you come in, there's a surprise in how they run these organizations. And it's just, say what you want. They know what they're doing in the NBA. You don't want to be average. You either rebuild and tank, or you go for it and try to be a playoff team. You can't be stuck in the middle.
Yeah, the recipe for success was right there. It was, hey, guys, the Cleveland Browns really appear to know what they're doing here because they actually might win games with Jameis Winston, but they don't want to win games. So they're going to start DTR. And that gives them the best chance to lose games. We have a player named Desmond Ridder. Guess what? He probably gives us by far and away the best chance to go out there and do exactly what Cleveland is doing and lose more games. But hold on a second here. O'Connell can play. He's not hurt. Okay, you know what? Ridder's going to sit. And we're going to go win 2 more games. Again, we could have a sit down for a half an hour. You could try to explain it to me for that long a time, and I'd walk out and say, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You'll never win me over on it. I don't care where it's coming from or who's saying it. Never going to win me over. Sorry.
How did Callahan survive? Did they watch the games?
No kidding.
It's
he's
baffling.
also... Now, I do, after watching their games a lot this year, I think the guy was totally lost, as we've said over and over and over again. You do have to keep in mind the quarterbacks that he was working with.
Yeah.
I would say there's a really good chance that Will Levis is worse at quarterback than Brian Callahan is worse than being a head coach, if that makes any sense. And they were 0-5 covering games with Mason Rudolph as well, but I do think Rudolph is probably better than Will Levis. But this has now turned into a thing. I don't think this happened often when we were growing up as football fans.
Yeah.
How many times are we going to see a coach go one and done now?
It's happened a lot.
I would say
the 49ers did it back-to-back years.
Yeah, and that's when it really caught my attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens now multiple times, I think, every single year.
Yeah.
So...
Well, none of this makes sense, and it's just it's infuriating, and it does. The fan base should just be livid, and over what the Giants did, what the Patriots did was so freaking egregious. It was so stupid. Just again, like Lovie Smith, fire the guy, and then have the assistant take over and lose the game. Mm-hmm. But to just say, "Wow, we're celebrating, smoking cigars, blowing draft picks." What the Patriots did, what the Raiders did. And then the other thing you look up today, and ESPN.com came out with their first mock draft, it's Ward, Sanders, Hunter. That's not going to happen. But they think it's just going to go that direction, quarterback, Hunter. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen either. But still, I can't believe Ward's $1.30 to go number 1 overall, as we briefly discussed yesterday.
Right. So organizations that do get it and are in the playoffs right now, you can bet at several different shops, including DraftKings, Super Bowl MVP. And when you look at these numbers, Pauly, going back throughout history, the quarterback has won the Super Bowl MVP so often that's the first guy you need to look at on all these teams. You can actually get better odds on most of the starting quarterbacks to win the MVP than you can on their team to win the Super Bowl. Now, it might be only like 50 cents. For example, Bills are around plus 650. Josh Allen is 7-1. Would you go down that path? And how many teams would you make the case for the quarterback actually winning?
Yeah.
I do think there are a couple of players, like Lamar Jackson is 8-1 at DraftKings. Well, they're 6-1 to win the Super Bowl. I can see a scenario Derrick Henry would win the Super Bowl MVP.
Yep.
Same thing with the Lions. Jared Goff is 6-1. That's a better number than the Lions to win the whole thing. Well, as we saw Sunday night, what if Gibbs scores 3 or 4 touchdowns?
Eagles with Barkley, too. Yep.
Sure.
Yep. But I'm with you on Kansas City, definitely with you on the Bills, and you can make a case for several Minnesota Vikings. But that's an interesting way to attack it.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts 15-1.
Yeah.
Is he going to get cleared? Today's Tuesday. I still have confidence that we're going to get news by probably tomorrow that he's going to play.
I don't know. We're at 16 days now. I know. I hope you're right tomorrow. Big news here. We're returning to Sirius XM starting January 17th. VSiN's 24/7 program will be available on Sirius XM channel 158 in the Sirius XM app. And we also will produce a new show for Sirius XM, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Maher and Dustin Sweetelson every weeknight from 7 to 10 Eastern, Sirius Channel 82. So January 17th, make a note, mark it down, VSiN Channel 158 on Sirius XM.
I will say it did stink not having a Monday Night Football game in the NFL last night. However, I thought it was a great job by the way that game played out for the FCS to put their title game on Monday night after the NFL season is done, and for it to play out like that. I hope the ratings were really strong, and I bet you the betting handle was awesome. They were taking $10,000 limit bets here at Circa.
The North Dakota State kid can't play in the NFL? He's a good quarterback. Wide receiver's good, too. Lance, there's some talent on that team.
That's like the third time I've watched him play this year.
Yeah.
I've been blown away every time by Lance at wide receiver.
They almost beat Colorado on the road.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a program. They do it again. 10 times in 14 years they won the title?
Ooh.
All
right, let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We have an action-packed basketball card tonight, including the number one team in the country, a dog on the road.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I don't know about you, Pauly. A little hungry today. Did not eat before the show. We're 4 months into this at least now. I'm still kind of getting used to the new hours.
Yep.
After doing mornings, but a little bit hungry here this afternoon.
I had a feeling. So they delivered, and Project Barbecue, great barbecue right outside of Circa, has partnered with Omaha Steaks. What a combo that is. And with Sewell's Southern Barbecue as well. We have the barbecue to go with the Project Barbecue food with Omaha Steaks. And got the pulled pork sandwich, the garbage bowl, which has got barbecue chicken, which has pulled pork, coleslaw, all mixed in it.
Wow.
Beard-battered sausages, the steak kebabs from Omaha Steaks. Got the mac and cheese. Great presentation there. We have you covered here.
Great menu out there.
Yeah. Look at the kebabs here, too.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the deal. I'm a spicy kind of guy. I'm going to go with Sewell's Barbecue Hot barbecue sauce. I think you have the original over there. Yeah. So I got the pulled pork sandwich as well. I'm going to put that sauce right on top of that bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the real deal or what?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Now, I have no idea how hot this is, so.
Yeah. Dynamite. Great. I encourage you to try here's a napkin right there.
Oh, it's awesome.
I encourage you to try the beer-battered sausages, too. So.
Those kebabs are dynamite.
Yeah. It's fantastic food. And once they partnered with Omaha Steaks as well, with the kebabs, which I found out last week, I said game on.
Sure.
You can also use your players' points out there, too, at Project Barbecue. They've thought of everything. Derek Stevens has thought of everything. With the fries and top notch. And the mac and cheese is the nuts, too.
There you go. Great combo. Again, I went with the pulled pork sandwich today, along with the Sewell's hot barbecue sauce. And it is phenomenal. And here's the deal. From smoky ribs, mouth-watering wings to the perfect backyard burger, Sewell's turns every bite into a flavor-packed experience. Order now at SewellsBarbecueSauce.com. That's SEWELLS, BBQSauce.com. Flavor this good, only a click away.
Get in there. Look at this thing. I'm loving this garbage bowl. That thing is awesome. Look at the size of that thing. Look at that.
I think
that's like $12, $14. Look at the portion there. with slaw on the side and chips.
What'd you get over there?
That's the sausages.
Okay.
And then that's the mac and cheese.
All right.
Right? Thanks to the manager, too. Top-notch operation out there. Had it all ready to go, pick it up, bam, in and out. In and out, great.
That barbecue sauce is
good.
Outstanding. Okay. NBA and college basketball tonight. It's a really good card. We'll begin association. Nuggets are playing in Boston against the Celtics. I will remind people, last year's results between these two teams. Nuggets won the first game 102-100. They won the second game 115-109. Murray was awesome in the first game. He had 35. To no surprise to anybody, Joker had 34, 12, and 9 in the first game. He had 32, 12, and 11 in the next game. Tonight, Derek White, 23 and 12, over 15.5 points on the season, 25 and 10, over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And Joker's three-point prop tonight is 1.5. It's juiced big time to the over, but he's 22 and 9, over 1.5 made threes on the year.
Well, he's at an all-time season, as we talked about last week, averaging more points than Shaq ever did, more rebounds than Duncan ever did, more assists than Paul ever did, and he's shooting 49% from three. They just had that great battle against Wembanyama. Well, as the road team won both. But he's got the on-off numbers. When he goes off the floor, it's an unmitigated disaster. So this is not that good of a team. They're led by an all-time great. Probably win the MVP again. Is right there with SGA. I like the Celtics, though. And you're paying a tax, but again, the Celtics off an embarrassing performance. As you said yesterday, they had like 64, 65 at halftime at OKC, and then came out with some questionable shot selection, but then scored 27 second-half points, which I didn't think was possible. So it's just a phenomenal OKC defense and what they're doing, and especially how they guard the three. But I think you're going to get an angry Boston team here that really embarrassed themselves and get the job done tonight against a average Denver team just led by a sensational player. That's how I feel.
I don't disagree. It's a bad spot here for the Nuggets to be catching the Celtics off that really bad second half against Oklahoma City. I do recall on the show last year we were saying if the Celtics meet the Nuggets in the NBA Finals, it's not going to go well for Boston. And I felt that way. I meant it. I thought Denver was going to beat them. And now everything that you just said I think is spot on. I don't think this year's Denver team is close to last year's Denver team.
No.
It's just this guy's playing out of his mind every single night.
Yeah. No depth. Bench stinks.
Right.
Absolutely. Lakers got to get this one tonight, too. They're up to 7. So this could be a little hairy, too, because this is the TNT game, and Redick and Barkley going at it. But you don't have Kyrie, and you don't have Luka. So the schedule's backloaded because the league wants LeBron and the superstars on national TV once football ends. You got to get games like this. If you want to get your way out of the play-in and get a top 6 seed, these are games you have to win. So on the road, laying 7 against a Dallas team that's shorthanded. Lakers have been playing good ball. Excellent since they made the change with the starting lineup. LeBron's been great. AD as well. Reeves, Christie had a big game. That was a nice win against the Hawks when they blew them out at home. So good bounce back after they lost the first one there in Atlanta in overtime, which was a thriller. Got to show me here, though. You got a shorthanded Dallas team, got to win games like this, and you got to be impressive on the road.
Player prop to look at tonight, P.J. Washington, 22-6 under, when that number is 17.5 points. He has scored 18-plus points one time since December 5th. That's on the daily NBA prop analyzer at vsin.com under the tools section at the very top. Heat at the Warriors. Wiggins, 24-7, under 5.5 rebounds on the year. What do you make of this Heat team as we speak? And according to Brian Windhorst today, the trade offers out there for Jimmy Butler are laughable. Warriors are laying 9.5 in the game.
So after they suspend him, they play Utah at home. And all about Heat culture and they go out and they get embarrassed and give up all those points to the Heat as a big favorite. They hung in there last night, should have won the game. More on that coming up. But they blow it. They're off a double overtime game in Sacramento. So short trip, but you play double overtime.
Right.
And now Butler's suspended and you take it on Golden State. So the tax here up to 9.5. Oh, mercy. I think it goes over. I think it could be a game where they don't have their legs and they can't get back defensively. And Curry, there's a great article up on ESPN.com about he's up there in age now, and these guys are just picking him up at half court and making him work. But still, he was 8 for 8 from 3 in that last game last week and was so good before he took a seat. So
right.
I think it's a get-right game for Golden State, and Miami can't overcome this.
All right, Pelicans are playing at the Wolves. I know that both of us are going to be on this one. Zion's going to play tonight, evidently. If you would have asked me before the show how many games Zion Williamson has played in this year, I would have said maybe 2. Mm-hmm. I guess it's been 6. But DeJounte Murray is 17-2 under his points this year, 15-4 when the number is 18.5.
There you go. How about that? Some of these not even close. Not even coming close to 18.5.
Yeah.
So play his points under again. And I don't like this Minnesota team. They did get the win against the Clippers, but Edwards was great down the stretch. That's why they won. He had 2 threes from the parking lot to get it done. So I don't want Minnesota here on a back-to-back, and they're not playing well.
Yeah, I'll give you one other player prop. So I bet the Murray under 18.5. I'm also betting, and I did, Miles Bridges, his over rebounds, 16-5 over 6.5 rebounds on the year. If you look at his game log, he's absolutely destroying it. 8, 9, 12, 10, 14, 8, 7, and 8 going back. And Kevin Durant, who played again last night, some books made his 3-point prop tonight 1.5. He's 20-4 over 1.5 made threes on the year, but it's like minus 175 at some books.
Yeah, this one's tough. They're also off a back-to-back.
Yes, they are.
And then you got Beal coming off the bench, and he's not happy about it, but he's trying to be a good soldier here and say all the right things. And then you get Jurkic back after the suspension too, and Budenholzer's going to bring him off the bench. So I want no part of this one. One of the major disappointment, even with the injuries. This team shouldn't have the record that they have.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's embarrassing, frankly.
Yep. 2 things to look for tonight in college basketball. Tennessee, the number 1 team in the country, they're playing at Florida. What a spot this is for the Gators. Only a couple of days ago, played on the road at a 10 a.m. start time, by the way, at Rupp Arena, Florida. Laying up to 3.5, by the way, in this game at some spots tonight. And the total is 151.5. They have a turbocharged offense, and they love to run and gun. Tennessee's a little bit on the opposite side, obviously, but Tennessee's been awesome this year. So is Florida, quite frankly.
I don't know. It's a something's got to give game. It's a number 3 offense against the number 1 defense.
Yeah, there you go.
And that how they guard you defensively from 3, it's ridiculous the percentage they're allowing. So this is a tough game, and I don't know who's going to dictate and control tempo.
That's a good point. Good point. I do like Georgia, but that number is now gone. They host Kentucky tonight. Kentucky, they were awesome coming off that A-plus performance against those Gators, but now they're playing on the road. They've been much better at home than on the road this year, but money on Georgia today down from 3 to where it's at right now. I think 1.5 or maybe 2 out there. And I did bet Duke-Pittsburgh under 143.5 tonight. Greg Peterson had a good write-up at vsin.com, and I agreed with it. Jeff Sherman will join us from the Westgate Superbook coming up next. We'll get his thoughts on the NBA card and who he likes this week on the PGA Tour.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. We're live downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Jeff Sherman joins the program. Long-time Vegas odds maker, bookmaker, risk management. He's over at the Westgate, and he is on the Progressive guest line. Jeff, good to talk to you today. How are you?
Great. How's it going, guys?
Going really well. We were talking NBA right before you popped on, and we kicked around this Denver-Boston game. I think I may have said, and thanks to Brian on X for calling me out on this, did I say that this game was in Boston? If I did, I apologize. It's in Denver tonight. Yeah. Boston laying 5.5 here. Pauly brought up a good point talking about this game. Man, bad spot here potentially for Denver just because of how the Celtics got embarrassed in the second half on Sunday against Oklahoma City. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's one tendency that I look to play on is when you got professional teams that have some type of embarrassment to them. There was a game last week where the Raptors got embarrassed at Boston, and the next night they were at home, and they were a dog to start with, ended up going off as a favorite. And you get such an emotional effort at a team's coming off where you get some type of an embarrassment. And like you said, that's really rare to see what happened with the Celtics scoring 12 points in the fourth quarter. Oak City really handing it to them. So you're going to get that type of effort out of Boston tonight. Pretty thick number to lay on the road, though.
What do you make the showdown tomorrow? It's only the first time since the early 70s we have 2 teams with 30 wins and 5 or fewer losses playing. OKC at Cleveland.
Yeah, I was asked about this spread yesterday by the Cleveland media, and I gave them Cleveland 2.5, and that's what we hung already. So we have the Cavs 2.5 and 226.5 for that. It's going to be a fantastic watch. These teams are playing such excellent basketball. Oak City's defense has been out of this world. Cleveland's efficiency has been out of this world. So you got two worlds colliding in this one. And I wouldn't know what to expect with this number, but feels like Cleveland 2.5 is the right number to me.
Okay.
Overall, how close are these two teams in your power ratings?
I've got Oak City ahead of them. Right now, I've got Boston 1, Oak City 2, Cleveland 3. And really, when you look at the title odds, the way other teams have been so inconsistent, last week you thought the Knicks off their winning streak might be turning a corner, and then they have disappointing losses like they had at Chicago and at home to a depleted Orlando team. Mm-hmm. So you only got three really trustable teams right now. And I have Boston, Oak City, and Cleveland. Oak City just slightly ahead of Cleveland.
What would you need on the Thunder to win 70 games?
That's not even a market that I look at. So that's something I'd have to think about. But, I don't even know if that's out there. But I'd have to play around with some numbers to come up with that.
Well, would you take 20-1? Would you take 15-1?
No, I don't. It'd probably be something over 20 is what would, just off the top of my head, to have to touch that.
Well, where are they at once Chet comes back? Because I think once that happens,
won 15 in a row.
I think immediately, like, their ceiling turns into maybe easily the highest in the entire league.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's expected back to like March, shortly before the playoffs. So it's incredible they're doing this without him. But then, they started out well with him, so it's not going to be too much of an integration process. But he'll get some games under his belt before they reach the playoffs, and they haven't even done anything as far as wait to hear if they do any trades. They can add whatever they want with all the assets that they have. And I've been an advocate for a team like this to get someone like Cam Johnson. I mean, they could overpay anybody else to add a 3-point threat like that to this team. So, if they add anything to it, someone that's not, not a Jimmy Butler that can disrupt chemistry issues, but someone like a Cam Johnson from the Nets.
Tell people what's going on tonight, and you can bet on this on ESPN.
Yeah, new golf tonight. We got team play golf on an indoor setting, and it's simulation golf where the golfers will hit a real tee shot going up against a screen, and you'll see how the ball comes out, and it's alternate shot for 9 holes, 3-person teams that are active. There's 4 players on a team, 3 that will be playing tonight, and then the remaining 6 holes are single matches, and each golfer will get 2 holes out of the 6. But we have odds up on it. And you have the Bay Golf Club -105 against New York Golf Club -115. New York has Fitzpatrick, Fowler, and Xander playing. The Bay has Ludwig Oberg, Clark, and Lowry playing for it. And we have outright odds to win the championship. I think it's a 15-week schedule. So it's something new, and there's not too much about it, but it's on ESPN. It's going to get a lot of press. And next week, Tigers team plays. So you get to see Tigers' first return to golf in 2025 in this format next Tuesday night.
Are you taking many bets on this event?
It's been minimal so far. I don't think there's a lot of people that are really aware of it and how it's going to work. And I think if they watch it tonight, they might get more of an appetite for it after understanding a little bit. Like I mentioned, they're doing it tonight for the first one, and then Tigers team plays next week. So if you can understand how it goes tonight, I think we're going to get a lot more involvement next Tuesday with it.
Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Jeff Sherman, our guest. You can follow him on X. He is at Gulf Odds, risk management supervisor over at the Westgate Superbook here in Las Vegas. Who have you bet? How are you attacking the Sony this week on the PGA Tour?
Well, one guy I'm not betting is Hideki. He's not the type of golfer I look for to go back-to-back, and we haven't seen too much action on him, so I bumped him up to 11-1, which is highest out there on the market. But a few golfers that, usually I like to look at guys that played the previous week because then they get some competitive form under their belt. Davis Thompson, I played him at 50. He had an excellent year last year. And if I can get him at 50 or higher in tournaments, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to break through and continue to push forward and improve a lot. Luke Clanton, he was a surprise last year, the Florida State amateur. And, he almost won his last time out on tour. He's right there. He finished second. And he's sitting at 40-1. And in this type of field, I think he can go very well. I played him top 20 also at 2-1. And someone that played the end of the year pretty well, Daniel Berger, he started coming on at the end of the year, was competitive for a few rounds each tournament he played in. And I played him at 65-1 and 5-2 top 20. So I'm looking a little deeper down the list, 40 to 60 to 1 range for this week. 144 golfers as opposed to the 60 we had last week.
Yeah. No Thagala on the card this week?
No, I mean, his odds are a bit higher than you'd expect to see just because he underperformed to expectations last week. So you can find him in the 30 to 35 to 1 range, and I didn't get involved with him.
All right, I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the first book here on top 20. Davis Thompson, your guy, plus 150. Is that a good enough number to still play?
No, I mean, I didn't play him out of the 3 guys I played. I played the other 2 just because I was looking for 2 to 1 or higher on him. So just short of 2 to 1, I just didn't get involved, and I left just the outright at 50 to 1.
All right, we started NBA. We'll close NBA as well. What do you make of the Lakers? Your Lakers tonight, laying a big number on the road against the Mavericks, who are going to be without Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. It's a back-to-back for Dallas with missing their key players, and Gafford is out too. He got hurt in the game last night. So Dallas going through so many injuries. The spread's adjusted for being up at 6.5. The public's laying it. I couldn't do anything with it, but it's a very bad spot for Dallas. So I understand why it's a high number and a tough one. But I would think, this should be one that the Lakers can get because they've been struggling against the better teams, and this is one they need to take care of.
Do you like any numbers that are currently available on the board?
Available? No. I did play overnights. I laid the Rockets minus 10. I mean, they like to beat up on the trash of the NBA like the Wizards are. And I played the Warriors minus 8 as that game went to double overtime last night because I like to take those type of spots.
Yeah. Is John Murray your boss now?
That he is.
Wow.
Yeah, running the show.
How about that? You report to Mr. Murray. Congrats to him. He had the great quote last week to David Purdom. It would be cool if a dog won a game in the NFL. How are you lucky? Not lucky. Are you excited that the NFL regular season is over?
Well, it's been a struggle with us. This is the first year that I can remember that we lost on parlays for the season. We came out straight bets, did all right on, but parlay wagering, the public had a fantastic year because of the lack of upsets on the money line. So it was a struggle from that perspective, but it's nice now that the 6 games we're starting out with this weekend, we get pretty competitive matchups. I mean, we even had the Steelers getting 10 against the Ravens. We just had some sharp play, take that down to 9.5. So we don't have any double-digit spreads. We have what should be competitive, at least competitively wagered upon games. So something to look forward to this weekend.
And I guess this will tell you how favorites did this year. You guys lost to parlays, huh?
That's crazy.
Yeah, we lost on parlay wagering here at the book, and it was mind-boggling to see that when you see how well you do year after year on it.
Yeah, and the Westgate, by the way, they're going to be offering minus 108 on NFL sides, right, throughout the entire playoffs?
Yeah, we have minus 108 like we did all season, and we are hoping to do minus 105 on game day. So that's something we're talking about doing.
Oh, very good. Follow Jeff on X. He's at Golf Odds. Thank you, sir. We appreciate the time.
All right, thanks, guys.
Great job. Thank you. Well done. That was wild to hear that. The parlays.
Lost on parlays
crazy.
For the whole year.
Yeah.
Well, when favorites wouldn't lose for 2 months.
Yeah, that's right.
That'll probably do it to you.
Yeah. They've been promoting this golf thing heavy on ESPN. So we'll see what it looks like tonight. And then you got Tiger next week, as he mentioned.
All right, win-lose up next. And Pauly is calling it one of the worst beats he's ever seen in the NBA. Details next.
Last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, good fun coming up. College hoops, South Florida plus 330. Shocked Wichita. National title game, North Dakota State here at Circa plus 205 on the money line. NBA, Magic plus 450. No Towns, but no excuse for the Knicks. Dreadful offensive performance. Suns plus 3.5 to minus 2. Took out Philly. Pacers from 8 up to 11. Mavs, Grizzlies under 237.5 to 231.5. And the Bulls plus 125 on the money line. The Meat Man delivers. English Championship League QPR plus 160. Luton has lost 10 in a row on the road. And it happened again yesterday. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends, you always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. This owner, human, has his dog trained. I think it's the Canadians. I can't see. Oilers. Every time his favorite team scores a goal, the sirens go off, and the dog gets a treat, and the dog is trained to know, hey, that's awesome. Give me the paw. My favorite team scored. Then you see the red light going on, too. What a setup in his house.
Yeah.
But every time my favorite team scores, you get a treat. And now he's programmed, the nose, and trained. Okay, that's it. I get to eat now. Yeah.
Creative.
It is the Canadians. There you go. Well done. Good job. This is the only acceptable road tax. Look at the moose coming in, Mitch. Give me that. Walking in. I don't condone this, right? Coming right in, window down, and he gets a little snack. 10 stories high if he's a foot. Walking down the street, sure, that's dangerous. What are you doing? But he comes right out, and the people have their windows down, and he just sticks his whole face in there. You're lucky, he's in a good mood. Look at the size of that guy.
Oh, my, he's twice the size of the car.
Yeah.
He could flip the car upside down right now if he wanted to.
What if he had an episode? What if he put his head in, with... Oh, God, that's scary.
They got carrots waiting for him.
Yeah, sure. You come in, right, thanks for the snack, but that's, as people pointing out.
I could not do that.
No, right. Now he expects it. That's the other thing that could happen. That is bananas. I always like stuff like this. Darren Ravel tweet. The watch Leonardo DiCaprio wore in Wolf of Wall Street sold at an auction yesterday for $87,000. It's in the scene where he takes it and chucks it into the crowd when he's pumping up the team, getting ready to pump the Steve Madden stock. He said that it was worth $40,000 in the movie. In reality, the watch was $1,000. Someone paid $87,000 for it. Incredible, right?
Well, it's a cool piece of like memorabilia to have from a movie. It's an excellent movie.
I thought he should have won an Academy Award.
I can't believe he didn't.
Yep. The Quaalude scene. The other one too. A $60 division winner parlay. All 8. Guy hit all 8. $96,000.
Seems like a pretty good number.
Yep. Hard to do, but he had one with all 8. Lose some. Montana State from 3 up to 5.5. Down 21-3 in the game against North Dakota State before coming back. Got the feet picture? We're on a nice run here with the feet picture. Look at this. Guy said, thank God he wasn't sitting next to you when you were on your flight home. The person just put a barefoot up against the wall. Yeah, sure. Make yourself comfortable, you animal. I mean, this is just absolutely nauseating, ridiculous. It's other than the guy standing up as soon as the plane lands, right? Where are you going, right? You're in the middle. But you're putting the feet up, too. And this one sent in from someone, a fan of the show here at Circa. They serve food out here, too, at the book. Project Barbecue, again, you can order it. Victory Burger, it's great. Yeah, you guys sitting there, yeah, right next to him. I bet it smells, too. Yeah, barefoot. Incredible. Okay, here's the bad beats. Spurs laying 2.5. They led the Bulls by 7 with 3 minutes. Chris Paul, Wembanyama, all that talent, scoreless the rest of the game. Heat Kings, under. 223 down to 218. 102-102, double overtime gets you. And the Heat, all-timer. Heat plus 4.5, same game. They're up 15 midway through the fourth quarter. They blow it. It goes to overtime. They're up 1 with 5 seconds. Jaquez misses both free throws. Kings get the rebound, come down with 1 second left. The Heat foul him. The guy splits the free throws. So it goes to double overtime, and then they win by 5. Not only do you blow the 15-point lead midway through the fourth quarter, then you're up 1 at the line with 5 seconds left. Blow that, and then they cover in double overtime.
I don't know, man.
Oh.
The one against the Magic, I think, might have been worse.
7 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Well, this also had the collapse, though, too. What's going on? Spoelstra's a good coach. I don't care who's out. In sports betting and trading, understanding probability, the ultimate game changer. Unlock the secrets of high probability trading with Todd Bubba Horowitz, a former floor trader and seasoned sports bettor with over 45 years of experience. Visit BubbaTrading.com/VSiN today. Promo code VSiN500 to save $500. Don't miss your chance to sharpen your strategy and gain the edge in your trading game. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN, promo code VSiN500.
All right, you know how Aaron Schatz does the DVOA rankings for the NFL? He wrote a story now that the regular season is over with. Baltimore finished with the highest DVOA in the league, 7th best in the history of the NFL. 7th best. The 2019 Ravens and the 2023 Ravens also made the list of all-time top DVOA teams. Neither won the championship. It's also been more than a decade since the top regular season DVOA team won the Super Bowl. It was the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. Most Super Bowl champions rank between 3rd and 5th, with some outliers. The Ravens offense this year finished with the 4th best DVOA in the history of the league. His numbers go back to like the 70s, I believe. 6.85 yards per play, ranks 3rd in history. The 2000 Rams and the 1954 Rams were better.
Okay.
Baltimore was slightly ahead of the 2018 Chiefs, and the Lions finish in the top 5 on offense, defense, and special teams. 7th team since 1978 to finish that high. But, I mean, that's pretty crazy, right? When you stop, again, that's going to tie into people. How many people this week are going to say, Lamar, well, the postseason history, he's been really bad when it matters most. To their point, 2019 Baltimore, last year Baltimore, also made the list for top DVOA teams of all time. They can't even sniff the Super Bowl.
They also took some Pittsburgh money here, too, down to 9.5. We'll do this tomorrow, look-ahead lines, but one tease, I want your thoughts. If it's the matchup next week, and I hope we get it, what do you make Buffalo at home to Baltimore?
I saw the number.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the total?
52.5.
Okay.
I would take, the number that I saw, by the way, was Buffalo minus 1.5.
Yep.
I would probably be on Baltimore money line.
Okay.
I love this Buffalo team. It's been an incredible story. It's all you, pal.
Yep. 1 and 52.5. The other news, Ian Book was just waived by the Eagles, which good news for Hurts then. Signs pointing to Hurts will play on Sunday, and they got to have him. No doubt about it. Vikings signed Daniel Jones to the active roster. They waive Rippon. Would they dangle that? Maybe dangle isn't the right word. Would they use that as leverage against Darnold? Well, we'll just go with Danny Dimes.
Could.
They could say, we're not going to give you what you're asking for.
Yep.
McCarthy's not ready, but we'll wait another year. We'll go in the we'll just put Danny Dimes in there for a year.
I mean,
maybe O'Connell's
so far with the success O'Connell has had at quarterback in the last 3 years. Could you blame him?
Yeah.
If they don't want to dish out, what do you think Darnold's going to get offered? If he doesn't re-sign with Minnesota, like how big is his deal?
I know. We went through the scenarios yesterday. These are bad options out there.
Yeah.
If I don't have a top 5 draft pick, do I want Ward or Sanders anyways? And then who else could I get at quarterback? You know, what am I going to do?
I think he's
with
going
some
to
of these teams.
I mean, would you be stunned if he got $40 million a year?
No.
Derek Carr got that much money.
Yeah. What's going to happen to Purdy? What's San Francisco going to do? Could be wind up there. Who knows? But Shanahan's got an ego as well. I'm a great play caller. I can move the ball with anybody, whatever. Sure, O'Connell thinks the same thing. Nick Mullins was throwing for 400 yards when he was in there last year.
You know, how many teams in the league could actually make it work with Darnold?
That's a good question because, his career arc, I don't know. Number one, you have to have weapons. That's problem solved in San Francisco, right? I think he would put up numbers in San Francisco. That's where I trust Shanahan and also the talent that they have.
All right.
But
I'm never eating ever again on the show.
Okay. Well, drink a water.
I have.
You all right? You okay? Gonna die?
This sucks.
You okay?
I don't know. I got something caught in my throat. I don't know what it is. Horrible. That's it. One and done.
At that?
It was worth it, I guess, but now I'm paying the price for it.
Okay.
It's right there. I can't. Oh boy.
I want to know what the Browns are going to do. Heimlich? Anyone? Hit him in that.
They're going to take Travis Hunter third.
What are they going to do? A quarterback?
I have
Watson
no idea.
Watson had a.
Wait till next year. Get the best player in the draft in Hunter. Wait till next year with the quarterback position.
Oh God.
I know. Some people had no idea they won money in various Las Vegas football betting contests. VSiN's Dave Tooley will join the show and explain why next here on VSiN.